This podcast episode will not be disputable, but it will be undeniable. Not groundbreaking, but certainly pivotal. It won't be conclusive in any way whatsoever, but it will absolutely sum up the entirety of my work.
Welcome to the Unapologetic Man Podcast, the only podcast that's all about self-improvement, confidence, success, women, and being a man without making any apologies for it.
What is up, gentlemen? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the UMP. I really do appreciate you. And today we are going to talk about how to get a date with a girl without actually asking her on a date. I kind of feel like I've been doing a lot of cowardice type of episodes lately where I'm giving you guys all kinds of outs to not actually put yourself out there, which pisses in my river a little bit. It launches a 50-foot rope of diarrhea into my morning coffee because I want you to put yourself out there. I want you to man the fuck up, harden the fuck up, go approach that girl, let her know you think she's cute, and if she ain't into it, then kick rocks with your head down, you fucking sea hag. I don't give a shit. But listen, I know a lot of you guys are a little bit afraid, so I'm giving you lots of loopholes to slide under the radar, talk to these girls, try to get them to hang out with you. And honestly, this stuff works pretty well because if you think about it, a lot of times we're a bit creepy as men. We go in way too fast. We're way too eager. We try to get phone numbers way too quickly. And the chick's like, why does this guy want my phone number? He doesn't even know anything about me. I liken it to meeting a dude for the first time. How many times have you met a guy for the first time and within 3 minutes of talking to him, you ask for his phone number? Like, really think about that. Do we just go up to each other and we're like, hey man, what's your name? Where do you go to school? What kind of sports you into? Hey, you seem pretty cool. Why don't you toss me your number? If somebody did that to you, you'd be like, bro, why do you want my number? This is stalker Texas Ranger territory. You're creeping me out, man. Why don't we get to know each other a little bit first, see if we have things in common, and then you can grab my phone number? Or perhaps if you're doing something or there's an event going on, then yeah, that's justifiable. But if you liken it to getting a dude's number, oftentimes the way we approach dealing with women is a little creepy. Can you see why that is? We ask for the number way too quickly. Now, I understand in some instances, nightclubs, you run into a girl on the street, you see a girl in the supermarket, and you know you'll never see that girl again, then obviously you need to go in, build as much attraction as you can, build some rapport, get her to qualify herself to you, and then go for the number. But when you can, we want to take these under the radar type approaches where we actually build some kind of relationship with this chick. For example, you run into a girl at the gym who's really cute. Never do you want to go for her number in the first conversation if you know you're going to see that woman again. Because would you do that to a dude? Like he's wearing a t-shirt you like and you're like, hey man, that's a sick Hurley shirt. You know, you're really muscular and it seems like you're doing great in this gym. I think we should be friends. Why don't you toss me your number? He's going to be like, bro, is this guy gay? What the fuck is this guy doing? I actually had a guy do this to me the other day and I was like, why do you want my number? I don't know anything about you. I don't want to talk to you. Get away from me. Stranger danger. Alert, alert, help, help. And then the police came in, arrested him, did an anal cavity search, and then sent him on his way. But all jokes aside, boys, can you see now why that's a little bit creepy? When you can, you want to run campaigns on these chicks. And when it comes to getting a girl on a first date, why don't we try to go under the radar a little bit, make it way less social pressure oriented towards her especially, when trying to get the first date, or I should say the first hangout. And that's what we're going to speak about today. Gentlemen, before I jump into the content, you know I got to flex up a little bit, fluff my feathers, go down Flex Avenue and read yet another testimonial. This one's from my boy Gus. Gus, what is up? Gus actually sent me a bunch of swag from his business while he was in the program, and I'm actually wearing the sweatshirt right now, Gus. Absolutely love this sweatshirt, super comfortable, do appreciate you, but this is what Gus says. Mark, your 3-month coaching program changed how I look at life, business, and relationships. I wake up in the morning and just feel like a confident man. I used to attract toxic women who were a horrible influence in my life. Now I'm speaking to super high-value women, and I am the selector. This program was well worth the price to fix the issues I had with confidence in women. You're a fucking champion, man. I'm so thankful for your knowledge, help, and how you genuinely care to help people. You have an amazing thing going here that changes men's lives, and I'm so glad I was able to go through it. Gus, I really do appreciate that. And gentlemen, if you would like to meet with us on a free one-on-one breakthrough session to talk about if you too are a good fit for my program, It's a non-pressure meet and greet for us to figure out if this program is a good fit for you. I'm not into all that high-pressure sales shit. I do demand that you reply to my emails within 24 hours, and certainly I'm looking for commitment, not necessarily commitment to me, but just commitment to getting better with women, to getting more confident, to have your life changed. But it's not like, dude, you got to join this program because you got on the call. We're only looking for guys who are a good fit. And it's like, I don't want to take your money and not get you the results. I'm really big on that. I believe in karma. So we always go in with an open mind, no pressure type of approach. But again, if you are interested, I want to see commitment. I want to see that you're really fucking ready to change your life. And if it's with me or another dating coach, that doesn't matter. The real question is, are you ready to get that change? Are you ready to start getting high quality, sexy ass women in your bed on their back with their legs spread, begging you to put it inside them? Yes, that's a little motivation I'm trying to instill in your head, because I'll tell you what, it's well worth it, my friend. I used to get 0 women. I used to be so bad with girls I couldn't get laid if I was in a Tijuana brothel with $100 bills strapped to my penis. And now, for all intents and purposes, I get more ass than a toilet seat. But more importantly, I'm really fucking good at teaching other guys how to radically ramp up the results with women. So if you're interested in meeting with us, click the link in the description below, fill in the quick application, and we will get you on one of those breakthrough sessions. All right, gentlemen. So here's my whole thought about it. We want to get girls in a situation where the barrier of entry is lower. Her ability to say yes is higher, and the chances of her actually showing up to the quote unquote date go up exponentially. So let me ask you, let's brainstorm this together. How could we create a situation where it isn't so pressure oriented? We're not putting the word date on it. It's not just her and I, but there's a situation where her and I can get to know each other a little bit better, where perhaps there's other people around, perhaps it's an event. How can we put something on like that? How could we create that in our own lives to lower that barrier of entry so that girls are way more likely to show up? That's right. You host events. You put on things like barbecues, parties at your house, pre-game parties where people get together before they go out to the nightclubs, events where you take a bunch of people dancing, anything where it's a social event where different people are showing up, and she could even bring a friend along with her, provided it's not a dude. And that's something I'll discuss in a second. So when we invite this girl to this thing, whether it's a barbecue, a pre-party, whatever it is, the barrier of entry is way lower. There's way less resistance because she's not sitting there thinking, who is this dude? Am I really going to go on a date with this dude one-on-one when I really don't know him? He's basically a stranger to me. Am I possibly going to get into his car? Is he going to try to get me into his house where he could possibly rape me? You guys need to get into the minds of women and understand that they have a lot more to risk than we do when going on a date. First of all, it takes them way more time to get ready. Do you know how long it takes for them to put that makeup on their face? Have you ever watched a chick put on makeup? Dude, it's like hours and hours. They have fucking all these tools everywhere. It's like they're removing an engine from a 65 Mustang and they got all their Snap-on tools everywhere, but it's fucking pencils and pens and brushes and all this shit that they have to bust out, put all over their face looking like a goddamn clown, get their hair dialed in, make sure they're shaved, make sure the vagina is smelling good, make sure they look good in their clothing, make sure they don't feel fat, make sure they don't have a zip popping out of their head, make sure they're not on their period and perhaps feeling angry, perhaps feeling emotional. There's so many reasons that girls can flake on us. And this, by the way, gentlemen, is why you've been flaked on, is because of all these elements, not to mention her safety. She comes into some dude's apartment who's 2 to 3 times stronger than she is, usually. He could possibly rape her. So they have a lot more to risk. They have a lot more effort to put into it. It's a gigantic David Hasselhoff. The biggest David Hasselhoff for these chicks to come out with dudes. And this is why oftentimes they'll flake. You got to get a girl pretty damn attracted for her to actually show up on a date with you, because there's a lot of effort put in and there's a lot to risk. So what we want to do is, again, lower the possible resistance, lower the effort that she has to put in. And what I like to do is put on events. In fact, when I lived in Arizona, this here was my bread and butter. The only thing me and my buddy would do is put on barbecues and put on what we call pre-game parties, which we would do before we go out to the nightclubs. So every week we'd go out, meeting girls, even meeting girls on dating apps like Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, Match.com. I've done this. where you're like, hey, listen, we're having a get together at my place. Why don't you come? If you're more comfortable, you can bring a friend. You guys can come out with us. No pressure. It's mellow. Let me know if you'd like to come. So every week I'd get phone numbers with that in mind, and we would put on different events every single month. Okay. So maybe 1 month we'd have 2 barbecues and a pregame party, 3 pregame parties and a barbecue, a goddamn and a Jesus, a pickaxe and a slap jacket. Whatever we wanted to put on, that's what we would do. Okay. So you put on these events, and then that week you're just collecting phone numbers. You're an internet marketer, bro. You're just getting leads and you're funneling them into the top of your pipeline and you're blasting out mass texts. Okay, so you get all these leads, whether it's from Bumble, Hinge, the nightclubs, you meet a girl in a supermarket, you meet a girl at a gas station, you meet a girl at your penis enlargement appointment, wherever the fuck you meet her, you get her phone number and you blast her the same text. The text is basically like, what's up, it's Mark. We're having that party on Friday. Here's the details. Hope to see you there. Okay, now, of course, you can follow up a little bit more, make sure that these people actually show up. But think about this, brother. If you have 10 different girls come in, yes, even girls who you met on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Match.com, and the nightclubs where she's super attracted to you. Really think about this. If you have 10 different girls in a room where they're all attracted to you, and you're basically putting on a social party to get to know them all, do you think that's a good or a bad thing? Now, a lot of you guys would be like, well, dude, like if all these girls are into me and they all know that they're all into me, that's going to make them mad and they'll leave. Yeah, maybe 1 out of 10 will leave, but the other 9 are going to get more attracted to you. Do you understand the power of this? And you've went under the radar, and instead of having a one-on-one date, you've taken all the pressure away. You've taken that barrier of entry away, and it's just a mellow social thing. She can bring a friend if she wants to. You guys are having a barbecue. What's the big deal? You say, hey, what's up? You give them a hug. And one of the best ways I like to do this is be like, hey, come here, give me a hug. I'm a hug dealer. I really like to say that I'm a hug dealer. And I always like to hug girls when I first see them because then that breaks the physical ice. Okay, so now they're at the party. All these other girls are at the party. They're all into you. They're all meeting each other. Who cares if they found out where they came from? Check it out. If 2 girls meet each other and they're like, how do you know Mark? And they both discover that they met me on Hinge, it actually doesn't matter because their rationale is going to be like, oh, I guess he's a social guy who wants to get to know me. You know what? I actually kind of appreciate that because I too want to get to know him and I don't want that pressure. I don't want that, hey, let's go on a date and wow, look at all these other cute girls. How does he know all these people? Wait, is he actually into me or is he just building a social circle that I'm going to be a part of or what's going on with him? Now she's curious. And she wants to get to know you better. You've taken almost all that pressure off of her. And then during these parties, during these barbecues, your job, brother, is to just be a C-130 charisma gunship, dropping fucking charisma bombs left, right, and center, and not trying to get anything from any of these girls. So literally, these pregame parties, these barbecues, these events that you put on, you're not trying to get laid. What? What, Uncle MarkSing? I'm not trying to get laid. What the literal fuck am I doing all this work for? Because, bro tater cuff, you're going to follow up with these girls later and go on a date with them then. Ah, you see now what I'm saying? So the social event is just that, to be social, to let her see you talking to other girls, not super flirting with them, kind of being a little standoffish, just joking around, doing your conversation where you get them attracted, but not like touching them, flirting with them outside of that like first hug. Okay, she sees you being charismatic with all these other girls. She gets more attracted to you. And then a few days later, you hit her up. Hey, it was good to see you at that party. I did notice one thing about you though, ... Okay, now she's like, what'd you notice? And you're getting into a conversation. Then during text conversation on a high note, you ask her to hang out one-on-one. She's seen you at this event. She knows you're charismatic. She knows you're a fucking girl magnet. And as far as she's concerned, you're not hooking up with all these other girls. You're just a social guy. Now you hit her up. She feels like the special one. And you say, hey, let's hang out one-on-one. Brother, your chances of going on a date with this girl where now she's ultra fucking attracted to you go up by 7,000%. Theodore Roosevelt. Do you see the power of this? I want to like shake you by the shoulders, smack you upside the head, kick you in the ass where my foot gets stuck in your butthole and say, bro, do you see the power of this? Yes, you were seeing the power of this. And now you're like, but I don't know, man. I can't like put on this thing. I don't have enough like charisma and resources. This is where the hard work goes in. Brother, this is farming, not hunting. Okay, you're planting seeds, you're laying foundations, you're setting up shit that's a continuous funnel that you can duplicate over and over again. Now I want you to think about this. You've done this for 3 weeks in a row. You invite girls over that have been over already. You invite new girls over. And this thing is just a perpetuating mechanism that you deploy over and over again where there's very little effort. You have some liquor left over. You have text templates left over. It's really fucking easy. So again, boys, farming, not hunting. You want to lower that barrier of entry, make it so that there's very little resistance for her to come hang out with you, see what you're like. And yes, she can bring a friend. If she brings a guy, the way I usually address that is, hey, listen, we have a lot of guys who come already. If it's cool, the next time you come, we'd prefer you bring a girlfriend, just what we prefer. You don't have to have an excellent explanation as to why you don't want guys there. Just tell her we don't want guys there. It's very fucking simple. And most times girls will bring another girl. Now your friend's doing the same thing, isn't he? All you guys who have these excuses, do you have friends? I'm sure you do. Do you have friends that are interested in getting better with women? Hopefully you do. If you don't, introduce them to my podcast. Show them this episode. You guys get together and you're like, okay, we're going to do a pre-game party where we're going to invite a ton of girls over. We invite 10 girls, maybe 5 to 6 will show up. That's enough. We have all these girls come over. It's just me and my buddy and 6 girls. We entertain them. We have some alcohol. We have some appetizers if you want. We do a pre-game party, get them sauced up. Me and my buddy stay sober so that we can drive them to the nightclubs. Now we arrive to the nightclub and think about it. You and your friend arrive with 6 cute girls. You're going right to the front of the line. You're getting in for free. You might even get a fucking table. Now you're in the nightclub with 6 girls. What are all the other girls seeing? That's right, pre-selection, you with all these girls. Now you're going up getting more phone numbers. Hey, on Thursday nights, we like to do this pre-party thing. You're obviously out tonight, so you're obviously open on Thursday nights. Why don't you toss me your number and I'll send you details. We're going to do it next week. Boom, you just get 10 more numbers. Okay, now the next week, you fucking duplicate. Numbers upon numbers upon numbers. Those girls who you hang out with who are clearly attracted to you because you're the alpha, you're the C-130 charisma gunship that all the girls want. You text them a few days later, get them on a date one-on-one. You have lowered their resistance to come out and meet you. You have set precedents for pre-selection, getting them more attracted to you so you can take them out later. Boys, this is all I did when I lived in Arizona. This was my bread and butter. It's literally all I did. I'd go cold approach chicks, meet girls online, get their numbers, invite them to this thing. Yeah, not all of them will show up, but who gives a shit? From quantity comes quality. You get 10 different numbers, maybe 5 will show up. That's a pretty good ratio, is it not? So now we're talking to girls consistently. We're getting them attracted to us, and it's so much easier to actually get them to put all that fucking clown makeup on their face, get their mop dialed in on top of their head, get their armpits and vagina and legs and everything else shaved up and ready to go out with you because you've shown all that charisma. I cannot express to you how powerful this is, and this is how to get a date without actually asking for a date. It's like, hey, we do this XYZ event. Why don't you toss me your number and you and your friend can come? And I like to say you and your friend because that makes her feel a lot safer when she could bring her friend. Then you text her details. She shows up fine. She doesn't. That's okay too. And then if you run into her in the nightclub weeks later when she didn't come to your event, you'd be like, oh my God, I was on the corner of my bed in the cannonball position crying like a schoolgirl for 2 weeks because you didn't show up with a smile on your face, which communicates to her that you didn't care because she knows you had other girls there and you hardly even remembered her name. And that's something I'll actually do many times is when I don't remember their name, they'll be like, do you remember my name? I'll be like, oh, totally. It's Shed Dynasty. And they'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't remember my name. And sometimes, boys, I'll even pretend I didn't remember their name when I did because it shows them that I wasn't caring that much about it. It didn't really matter to me. Now, there's a balance there, probably an episode I should do where you should both communicate that you don't care about her very much, but at the same time, she's the best one of all the other girls you're talking to. There's that kind of balance there. But many times when you run into these girls and they flake, it's like no big deal. And they'll come to the next one when you show them it's no big deal. So the way to get a date without asking a girl on a date is to create an event, a barbecue, a pregame party. You guys all go dancing together. Maybe you host like a dodgeball game where you guys play dodgeball with those handballs we used to use as kids. Remember those like rubber handballs? And then you guys have beer or a drink in your hand as you're playing kickball. That's something we used to do as well. There's so many options beyond the straight, hey, I thought you were cute, let me take you on a date, and then she fucking flakes on you half the time. Let's think farming, not hunting. Let's think bigger. Let's strategize. Use that gray matter between your two ears and fucking think of a way to leverage this shit. Because this is the way to get utmost abundance. And I'll tell you what, you do this shit for 2-3 months, it operates on its own. You literally put very little work into it. It's one night a week that you really start farming. You plant those seeds. And then the rest of the week, you're having dates. I used to get a date a day out of this shit. Literally, sometimes 2. And at one point, I was doing 3 dates a fucking day, bro. I used to schedule them in my scheduler. I used to have spreadsheets of all the girls I was talking to and the gambits I used on them and what they look like and what they're into. It was like a full-time job. And you can get this abundance too if you just think outside the box. And of course, listen to my podcast. But if you want to take it to the next level and get utmost abundance within literally a couple of weeks, come join us in the program. This is a small taste of the kind of shit that I teach my boys. And you have me in your fucking side pocket to help you in those specific situations. You have unlimited access to me. I am your personal dating coach while you're in the program. Not to mention the NLP, where we remove bullshit beliefs like, I can't do that. I don't have the charisma or skill set or resources to do it. Bullshit. You could do it. So gentlemen, come join us. Get on that fucking call. It's a no pressure, free one-on-one consultation to see if you're a good fit. Click the link in the description below and we will talk about if this program is a good fit for your exact needs. I do appreciate you listening, gentlemen. I drop podcasts on Mondays and Thursdays, so please stay tuned for the next one, and I will see you in the next episode.